Yeah? You give a smile. Hey, we made everybody on here smile. You gotta smile. You smile. Come on. Smile. Smile. Okay. All right. There you go. So, anyways, today is 90, by the way. Today's the very last day of our 90-day Rhino Run, and I'm super excited for all of you that, just continue to show up, continue to be here, continue to play full out, because, here's ultimately what it's about. It's, who are you when nobody's looking? It's easy to show up here and to smile and to engage and to do those things, but the real question is that who are you and what's going to happen when this camera shuts off, right? Like, what is it going to be then? And by the way, I'm getting a little bit, can everybody still hear me okay? Yes? Okay, cool. Just getting a little delay in the camera. But, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. So, I'm going to kind of hit on a couple different things here today. But the first thing I would love to get some feedback on is, what did you get out? And at this point, nobody, the person that's judging, like I'm never going to judge anyone. Why? Because when I got this journey started, when I decided that I wanted to play full out for Brian and my future family and all that good stuff, it was for me, I can't judge anybody because I know where I started. And the only person that I could judge was the person that I looked at in the mirror every single day. So bottom line is this: I don't care if you've been participating here and you've been playing full out here for a day, a week, a month, or all 90 days, right? So the question I have for each and every one of you is what's that one thing that stands out in your mind over the past, 90 days? You had 90 days to pick something. What's that one thing that stands out? I'd love for you to share that what this Rhino Run did for you, okay? It could be anything, literally anything. It could actually have absolutely even nothing to do with Pruvit, your business, whatever. It could be something just that you've identified in yourself, in general, whatever. So I would love for you to share that. Just your biggest takeaway from this 90-day Rhino Run. Okay. Daily validation, belief in myself, more confidence, importance of showing up daily, being consistent and intentional, reinforce action, build your business, make a mess. You guys are going really fast. Habit and consistency. Consistency is key. I see a lot of consistency. More places for leaders to lead. Consistency in my life taught me how to structure my day. Made me realize to be more disciplined and respond well, and being accountable and connecting to the community daily. Matching your schedule with your goals, building a muscle to show up every day, and this is awesome, right? And it continues to go on and on. Hopefully all of you are reading this as well, because being authentic, that's so huge as well. So there's so many things, right? So here's the first thing that I would say is that if you have a top takeaway, if you have your biggest takeaway from the last 90 days, then this was an absolute, in my opinion, an absolute success. Hopefully you're not judging the last 90 days based on your current volume. Hopefully you're not judging the last 90 days based on some transactional aspect or some number as it relates to your business. Because ultimately, before you grow anything, you have to grow yourself. That's where it all ultimately starts, right? That's what we have to first come to the realization of. I am a completely different person today, and I'm much more happier about myself, with myself, than when I first started into this industry, this everything. So with all that being said, a couple things I want to hit on is, first off, congratulations if you've, been here for 90 days. Consistency is hard, and I don't care who you are, at what level you're at. I'm just going to share this very transparently. There's a specific group of leadership that came together and decided to all come together and run this Rhino Run, to lead this Rhino Run, to contribute on a higher level, to literally take their eyes off of themselves and the teams that they've built and actually give back to the entire community as a whole without actually looking for anything in return. Like literally just 100% contributing without looking for anything in return, which is awesome. And number one, I want to highlight and I want to give a massive amount of appreciation and thanks to the people that literally showed up to give you their time, their expertise, their experiences, their authenticity, like all of those things. And I don't want to actually, you know what? I am going to go ahead and just name all of them. So here we go. Let's do this because I think they absolutely 100% deserve it. I know they do. So Nick Couch, Abigail Klutz, Kelly Couch, Nate Justice, Sylvia Athey, Katie Rollins, Christina Figueroa, Kendra McMurphy, Anna Justice, Kelsey Gee, Alexis Whalen, and Jennifer Jaymes. So big thank you to all of you for the accountability and giving of yourself every day, right? And doing the best job to keep us accountable as leadership. But ultimately, as I said, anything that you're going to put as a goal or anything you want to accomplish or achieve, let me just tell you this transparently, is that, we literally, it's hard. We started off with a certain set of rules that we were going to follow as leadership and keeping each other accountable. And by the time we got past the halfway point, it started to die. There was less accountability. There was less leadership. There was less, this is a learning lesson on all ends. It doesn't just have to do with those of you that were not part. I will tell you, maybe some of the biggest lessons learned were probably through the leadership aspect, because come towards the end of this run, there was nobody that was really participating, that was keeping themselves accountable. But the point is it's to be expected. This is life. Those things are going to happen. So we need to make sure that we're constantly focused on what can we do to get a little bit better each day on all levels. Because, something that I'll tell you is that, if you start to achieve your goals, if you get to a point where the outside world looks at you as successful and you even start to look at yourself as successful, that's where you have to really be careful. And that's why I think one of the best books, why am I rereading this book? Because right now, this is the first book that I ever read that really started laying a foundation for, oh my gosh, the reason my life is not on track and I'm not getting the things I want out of life is because, number one, I have excuse-itis. I make excuses versus reasons why I should be doing something. Number two, detail-itis. I get caught up in the details that don't matter, that don't get me any closer to where I want to be, right? Excuse-itis and procrastination. I procrastinate on a lot of things. So this is what laid the foundation for me to start putting in my 10,000 hours to start, getting myself to a place where I wanted to be. Here's the problem. As you get to that place, or you start to elevate, or you start to get recognized for a rank, or whatever starts to make you feel successful and other people start to look at you as success, that's where it becomes even more dangerous. And here's the reason why. Because now you start to justify your excuses. I still, just so you know, I still make excuses for why I do or don't do things. The dangerous part is I actually believe that shit. I literally start to believe my own excuses because the rest of the world looks at me as successful and I start to look at myself as successful. That's a dangerous place to be. So the point is that you are never at a place in life where you've arrived. You see it in the news all the time. You see, you see people that make billions of dollars taking their own lives or doing crazy things. And ultimately it's because they're not happy, right? And ultimately you have to decide what success looks like to you. And I promise you it looks different for every single person on here. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that this 90-day run should have been it's a magnifying glass for all of us personally, as leadership, as a team, as a community. But here's what I want to let you know. It's okay. Why? Because all you have to worry about is yourself. They say, how do you want to create a massive change out there in the world, or even in your community, whether it's small, medium size, or you have a gigantic community? All we can control is ourselves. We just have to be the best example of what we want the rest of our community to be, what we want the rest of the world to be. So with that being said, consistency's hard, whether we're doing a diet, whether we're doing, personal development, whether it's in our relationships, right? It's hard. Consistency is hard, and life is a great big long journey. So here's what I want to bring it back to for all of us is that, right now we have 93 people on here, and there's a lot of you that obviously there's a lot of people in the community that are going to watch this on replay, but can I give all of you a secret right now? This is the secret in this business that absolutely set me free. And it's not really a secret, but it's an awareness that you can only achieve through putting in the hours, putting in the time, building the relationships. Can I do that? Is that okay? Yeah, give me a thumbs up if that's okay. Okay. I spent so much time and I wasted so much time in my business focusing on people that weren't showing up. I spent more time wasting time with laters and nevers than I did with nows, the people that want it now. So here's my point. Right now, you're looking through all the names on here and you're seeing people on your team that show up. Stop worrying about the people that aren't showing up and start giving your time, energy, effort, and resources to the people that are showing up. Little tip, you will accomplish more with one now than you will with 100 laters and nevers. You will accomplish more with one now than you will with 100 laters and nevers. Why? Because with the one, you're actually replicating effort. You're replicating thought process. You're replicating resource. You're replicating a whole bunch of really good things, and they replicate. It's like the Chinese bamboo. You don't see it. You know, as I sit here on a farm, when my father-in-law goes out and plants a seed, he just has the faith that if he goes out and sprays it and waters it and tills it and knows that, hey, the planet and the earth is going to hopefully give what is needed in order for this harvest to come. Like, could you imagine if they just threw some seeds out there and said, I'm not going to do anything and we're just going to see what happens? You have the faith that it's ultimately, it's going to show up, right? It's going to show up. And that's how, when you set your goals, a lot of it is a faith walk. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So focus on who is here. Focus on who is showing up, because that's what you're going to absolutely get the most out of. I spent so much time wasting time. And if I could have that time back, I would have put it more into the people that were showing up, because by the time that I figured it out, those people left too, right? And if you want to go back and revisit that, it's a training that's on our YouTube page that is the now, later, and never, right? It's helping you understand what you should be focused on as you grow and go and grow and build your business. So attract, connect, and enroll. So for all of you that have been on here, it doesn't matter if you participated for a week, a month, like I said, or the full 90 days, you came to the realization that, hey, there is a way that we attract people, there's a way that we connect with people, and there's a way that we experience, that we help people experience our technology, our product, our company, and ultimately prove it, right? And our whole community as a whole. So you realize very quickly that, oh my gosh, everybody's doing the same thing. Like I said, you'll realize very quickly as you continue to pursue this is that your business and how you operate it is 98% attitude and 2% technique. You got technique over and over and over again since day one. You got it from different people, different personalities, which is awesome. But hopefully it gave you the confidence to say, hey, you know what? I can do this. Why? Because everybody's doing it the same way, right? I just need to run that momentum loop until I get it down to where I can do it more efficiently, more effectively, and get the same result. So you know how to attract, you know how to connect, you know how to experience and enroll. Now it's about just making it happen. Now we realize very quickly that there's two aspects to our business. And what I would help you or want you to really truly focus on right now is understanding that, listen, through attract, you learn how to transact with people, because our business is everything we do in life. I want you to think about this. Think about some of the friends you have right now, right? Think about some of the people that you keep in contact with. 9 times out of 10, they were transactional interactions initially, which then you decided and they decided, or you decided mutually for them to become relational. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, think about people that you met that initially, like, it could have just been a one and done. It was some type of transaction. Maybe you met them, you know, in a line somewhere waiting for coffee. Maybe it's the person that sold you your car. Maybe we could give 100 different examples, but I guarantee you, if you look at some of the people that you interact with the most outside of your family, is that they started off as transactional encounters that led now to relationships. You've developed a relationship over time, whether you guys had, you know, some of the same life goals or outcomes or, you know, circumstances or whatever. So here, understand is that you can really ramp up transaction, and you need transaction in your business. I want you to know this. You need transaction. The key is learning how to create transactions that become relationships, because what is going to build the stability of your business over time is going to be the relationships way more than the transactions. The transactions are required effort over and over and over again to identify the relationships that you want to build with people in order to build your empire, in order to build your business, in order to build your community. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? Okay, check in with me. Let me know if this is making sense. So you have literally have been taught the best of the best ways to attract and transact. Now you have to learn how to give to those people, right? You have to learn how to give to them, to take your eyes off yourself and give to them so that they can start having the tools, the resources, and the support to meet the goals that they've set for themselves, okay? So bottom line is life is a long journey. And I pulled out some statistics here. And, when it really comes down to it, I will be very honest. I'm out of touch with some of the same reasons why I pursued this business so hard in the first place. What do I mean by that? I was doing the math today, and it's been almost 10 years now. I am just shy of 10 years that I've been free. How do I look at free? Free, in my definition of freedom and free, is I've had control of my time and my money, meaning that I have gained control, personal control over the money that I make, the income that I produce. And then number two is what I do with my time. Like, my time is not controlled by someone else. When my time was controlled, I would have been so much more relatable to you guys many of you in your current situations, because I was in it. I was in the hunt. I was in it in every way, shape, and form. So sometimes I have to stop and go back because I realize that maybe I'm not so relatable. But at the time, it wasn't about, a $15 million house on the beach. It wasn't about a $200,000 car. It wasn't about all that. And it still isn't. So still today, I would get rid of all of it if it came down to things or my personal freedom. So it's been almost 10 years. But I want you to look at it in just some common sense and think about, what you're up against on a daily basis. Here's what I mean by that. So maybe it'll scare you a little bit too, and that's okay. Do you realize this, that the majority of things that we do in life, we do to avoid pain, not to increase pleasure? Do you understand that? That's another big thing. And know that when you come in contact with other people on a daily basis that you're transacting with, is that what's going to motivate them 9 times out of 10 is going to be the pain and not the pleasure. Not the getting better, but the avoiding the terrible. You realize that, right? Sometimes do you realize that we're dealers of health and wealth? Yeah, how cool is that? You literally get to be a hope dealer of health and wealth on a daily basis. But how frustrating is it when people just it's like they don't care. And they'll wait until things are absolutely terrible and their back's up against the wall before they'll do anything to start bettering themselves. Now, what's cool is that you can influence them, right, to get out of that mindset, to start being proactive versus reactive. But still, life is a super, super, super long journey. And most of us, I am still guilty to this day. I'll wait till my health is starting to go the other way before I get in, instead of bettering just being 1% better every day. I'm consistently working on it on a daily basis. So we have to continue to dig, right? But I want to put things into some, for those of you that are realists, let's talk about some realism. Let's talk about, what is the alternative to not creating success here? What's the alternative? So right now, the statistics show in 2018, the average household income, which consists of 2.5 people. I don't know how you get the half person. I don't know if you put your dog to work. I don't know if you put your kids to work. I don't know if, another family member stays with how they get those numbers. But an average household, which consists of 2.5 incomes, it could be part-time jobs, I don't know. But the point is this: the average household income in 2018, right, to the end of 2018, was $62,175 a year. You want me to repeat that? $62,175 a year. A year. And some of you don't relate because you make that in a month. The average retirement income is $45,756. So roughly $46,000. It's the average yearly retirement income. The average retirement age is 66. 66. Now, I made a commitment a long time ago that, I started looking at, because I had people that would share these things with me, and I looked at them and I'm like, do I really want to like retire at age 66? And then what is retirement? Is it literally just trying to survive out the rest of your life? I was challenged on all of these points, right? And I could make a decision at that point, whether do I want to live like the rest of the world, or do I want to start changing my future and my family's future now, here and now? When I will tell you that, you know, as you look at what success I've had or other people have had right now, you don't look at the journey and how long ago it was that they committed. I had somebody that messaged me the other day saying, gosh, I resonated with your message last week, but it just seems like I keep working and nothing shows up. Nothing's happening. And I said, you know what? The best advice I can give you is I look at a span of time, because that's one thing that most of us are completely, we don't even understand the concept of time in any way, shape, or form, because everything that we view on a daily basis is instant gratification. Like, we don't see, our neighbors may be acquiring stuff, but you don't see the debt and the other negative things that are ultimately going to all pile up and eventually hit a point where they can't manage it anymore. And now all of a sudden, the people that you were trying to chase and keep up with the Joneses have literally taken themselves off the cliff. And now you're like, oh, shit. Like, and that's the problem, is that you were following the perception of the things and the stuff and all these other things. And you didn't have control of your own goals, your own destiny, because when you do, you don't worry about what the person to the left and the right is doing. You worry about what your outcome is. You worry about what your goals are, and you don't get sucked into other things. But I will tell you, it goes back to the same thing. Oh my God, you're going to talk about it again. Goals. If you don't have goals, you will get sucked into other people's goals, or other people's, actually, more importantly, other people's lack of goals is what you'll get sucked into. And you will get pulled into the abyss like most other people that are now, you know, looking for a way out, and now start to justify and blame and shame and all those other things. So I wanted to avoid those statistics. And I want you to think about it right now. Some of you, you know, some people that have come in here, there are certain reasons why some people have just had amazing success. Did they work really hard? Yes. But sometimes it was timing. Sometimes it was, you don't realize what they were doing in their community, or things up into their life at that point had become just right enough and just ripe enough. And, you know, some big influencers may have come into their lives where they weren't big influencers in network marketing or health or whatever, but they were just people that were wanting more out of life, and they created influence with the local community or whatever. And someone just got in and asked them the right question at the right time, and things started to happen. But the reality is, and as you realize that sometimes timing is everything, and we were early to the conversation with ketones and all of this, but I want you to think about this. I want you to start thinking about each person that comes to the table is, do we want to go and do we want to chase records? Yes. Do we want to try to beat the Sylvia Athies and the Katie Rollins and the, you know, still blows me away when I heard Kendra talk about, holy crap, when she received her awards at Epic this year, last year was completely different. The year before, she was not even on the same planet, like not even like hurting in every way, shape, and form. And now life later is completely different. Now, here's what's crazy. When you look at people that have amazingly fast growth and you envy it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Know this, they will meet their own battles on the back end, because they'll have to learn how to keep things together because it builds so quick. They'll have to learn. We all will go through a battle in order to maintain the consistency and the continued growth. There's some of you that you've been doing this for years and years and years. You've been doing this for as long as I have, and you've learned how to keep things together and keep things consistent. Now you need to constantly fight in your mind that, hey, I don't need to grow slow. I could actually grow fast. Right? I can do big things, and I can do them very quickly. So do we want to chase records? Yes, but we have to build in our mind that anything that we create is going to take time. It's going to take time. So I want you to think about it. What's the alternative? The next 2 to 5 years of playing full out. Imagine you continuing this 90-day Rhino Run for the next 2 to 5 years. 2 to 5 years. I want you all to think about this. Take the age that you're at currently now, and I want you to add 2 years to it. Okay, best case scenario, I want you to add 2 years to it. Worst case scenario, I want you to add 5 years to it. And what number do you come up with? What number do you come up with? You don't have to put it in here. I'm just challenging you real quick. Now I want you to do this alternate math. And that is, hey, you find something that you're really good at, you continue to do it, and you become one of these averages. Maybe you're on the high end of the average, maybe you're on the low end of the average. It doesn't matter. But the point is this. I want you to now do the math on what would it take your age minus 66? Your age minus 66. What does that look like? And then you can ultimately see, listen, am I willing to give up what I want now for ultimately what I want most? And what does that actually look like? Because unfortunately, if you don't have control over your time and your money, somebody else will. And if you fall within these averages, and I even look at it I assessed my own family. The most successful person in my family makes about $250,000 a year, which to my family, they think that's a lot of money. Okay. They don't realize that some people have made that in a month, right? But the point is that I see the lifestyle that's lived, but I still see the control that's kept. And like I said, this is literally, and I know I literally feel internally like I'm all over the map right now, but I'm just trying to close this 90-day Rhino Run out with some real perspective with, hey, what the hell did I do for the last 90 days? That's great. You gain some awarenesses, you gain some things, but this is going to end today. When I stop this recording, when Kendra goes over our new promotion and this recording stopped today, now it's up to you. Now it's ultimately up to you and what you're going to do with what you learned, the awarenesses that you created, identifying the support that you have here. It's going to end, and you have to, make a decision. Are you going to continue it? And you have to put some things in your life in perspective, because if we don't have vision, we what? We perish. And this is just vision. When I put down these statistics, it was the vision of what could be. And I said, screw that. That's not going to be the vision in the future of me and my family. So I decided to challenge it. I decided to put my head down. I decided to believe other people that had what I wanted. I put my head down and put in the same actions that they told me they took to get to where they're at. And you know what's funny? 12 years later, 13 years later, 14 years later, it showed up. But I will tell you, in the first 8 years, it looked like nothing was happening. Problem is that you know how many people in this world, it's hard to keep a relationship together for 8 years, right? It's hard to keep a car for 8 years. Today, it's hard to keep in a damn one living location for 8 years. The point is the rest of the world's characteristics and traits and things are actually against you, just so you know. Right? You live in a world where things are changing constantly, and to be consistent at something and to put your head down. But the bottom line is that if you don't commit to something, you will fall for everything, period. If you don't commit to something, you will fall for everything. And at somewhere in your fall, you'll look up and say, what the hell is going on? Why am I where I'm at? And it all goes back to, hey, I never decided to take control of my future, what I'm going to do, the work I'm going to put in, and it's okay. I'll tell you very transparently, when some of you learn how to work and you learn your passions, this may not be the vehicle that takes you where you want to go. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I have a lot of people in my life that I've given my time, energy, effort, and resources to that are out having success in other places. But you know what? I just happen to believe in my God. I happen to believe in the universe. I happen to believe in the law of karma, in the law of sowing and reaping, and the law of giving and you will return. I believe that the universe will give you absolutely what you want if you give it, right? What you want. You have to give what you want, period. So there's never a seed that does not fall on loose soil. There's never a seed that doesn't come to fruition. I put in the effort, energy, and the resources because I know it's going to come back to me, and I know it's going to come back to me tenfold, period, right? I know I'm getting on a little bit of a soapbox right now, and I apologize, but bottom line is you have to commit to something, and no matter how long it takes. What if it takes you, what if retirement age at an average household income, and then to live off of $45,000, $46,000 a year, which, by the way, there's going to be a lot of inflation by the time from now until the age of 66. So, you have to ask yourself right now, is that what my future looks like? And if it is, it's okay. Do it. Do it the best that you can, right? Do it with the best of your ability, no matter what you do. But point being is this: what if it takes you 20 years to get to where you want to be in this business, but it takes you 35 years to get to this point? My question to you, is it still worth 20 years? My answer is yes, because I know what you can do with 1 year of freedom, let alone 15 years of freedom. You understand that when you have control of your time and money, a year takes forever. It's amazing. And you do whatever you want in that year. You do it how you want to do it. You do it when you want to do it. It's amazing. Time slows down. Time, you literally control time when you gain freedom. And I can't tell you enough because it gives me goosebumps thinking about how passionate I was. Like literally waking up early and reading and doing all these things and then going to a job that I freaking hated and I knew was not part of my vision and my outcome. Some of the worst things is when you set a goal and when you set a vision for your life and then you have to do other things that don't ultimately lead to that thing, but I had to put food on the table. I had to keep the lights on. I had to keep shelter over my head. But the bottom line was this, is that I went out and I worked. There were some times, guys, where I worked 2 jobs. There were some times where I worked 2 jobs and then went out and built my business. I did whatever I needed to do to support the goals that I had set for myself. But ultimately, many people right now they think that's too much. Oh, I'm not willing to give up now for whatever. And that's okay. But that's the reason why you'll never live the life, or people will never live the life that they ultimately dreamed of, because they weren't willing to make the sacrifices in the interim. They weren't willing to make the sacrifices now. So anyways, I'm gonna shut up because I could keep going and you know, I tried to prepare for this, but honestly I didn't stick to any of my notes. It kind of sucks. But I was just trying to say, hey, what could I say on the last day of 90 days that would give you some perspective or give you some, maybe just 1% reason to go do a little bit more, continue on your consistency, or give you a different level of perspective. I didn't mean to scare you, but sometimes we need to be scared, right? And, you know, if you really started reading this book, you realized and you identified, and now once you have a realization or an awareness of something, you realize that it can't go away. All you can do now is try to bury it, but ultimately it doesn't go away. Like if you read and identified and created an awareness that, oh my gosh, I make excuses in my life for things I want versus reasons, is that can never go away. Some of this can be a curse for some of you that want to quit. Why? Because you can never unlearn something. You know that, right? You know that your subconscious can't even take a joke, which is why you have to be careful with the words that you speak to yourself every single day and the words you speak to other people, because your words give other people power and they actually give you power. So you got to be careful about what you even say, which is why I have to wake up every morning and read my goals and read what I want in my life. So there's a lot, and I could go on and on and on and on and on, but I'm not. I'm going to shut up. So I'm going to go ahead and give you what I believe to be, and ultimately you have to make a determination whether you want this to be your call to action or not, is that you have to go out and create your own Rhino Run. It may be just you. You know, your Rhino Run, maybe right now it's just you and you're finding a place that you can plug into to continue to stay accountable, to continue to get motivation, to continue to get insight. But ultimately, if it's to be, it's up to me. Many of you right now, you have the influence, you have the ability to go out and create your own Rhino Run with 2 people, with 4 people, with 10. And like I said, don't try to go and list right now when you get this call to action. Don't try to go and list the laters and the nevers, because all you're going to do is bang your head up against the wall and realize, oh my gosh, like I'm getting nowhere with this. Spend your time with people that are committed to themselves and ultimately committed to you to help them get to where they want to go. It's just like in any job. You've been at jobs where the boss gave you somebody new to train and hire, and you were only working there for 2 months, but you had 2 months more of getting over the newness, learning, you know, some of the operations, some of the whatever. You all right now have the ability to go out and take somebody else, help them go pro, help them go MVP, help them learn attract, help them learn connect, help them learn enroll. And here's the reason why I know, because everybody does it the exact same way. Everybody does the same way, which means you can do it and you can teach other people how to do it. Your certainty will grow as you go through the momentum cycle, but you have to go through the cycle. You have to commit to going through the cycle. So today, this Rhino Run ends, but the real Rhino Run begins. And that's the Rhino Run that you decide to run with yourself, with your community, with your team, with your potential team that you're going to have. Know who you have as support, know who you need to plug into. Every video that we've ever done, you could literally just right now, not even say a word, but you could host a 90-day run. You could host a 21-day Rhino Run where you jump on with people and you play a damn recording of somebody else training on our YouTube page. Like you could literally facilitate it. Like you don't even have to be the one that's training it. Be creative. Think about what can I do to get closer to my outcome. So anyways, I want to give Kendra some time, and, you know, I would love for her actually as well to not only close this up and give a little bit of, you know, what promotion we have going on and all that good stuff. But I would love for her to just maybe share very quickly, 2 minutes, you know, some of her awarenesses and takeaways and maybe some of the goals that she has moving forward. So you get a different perspective outside of just mine. And I know that there's no one better to give you some tips, some insights, some thought process. There's no one better, because there's not many in this entire community and anyone I've ever seen in 14 years of doing this industry that has had as much growth, development, but also is still so authentic and transparent through the process. Like, you know, she realizes that, hey, you know, when you stop growing, you start dying. It doesn't matter what level you're on. If you think right now that when you gain and you get to the level you want to be, that everything is good and fine and dandy and problems go away and you're perfect, I will tell you that, you know, the challenges will become even greater. It's just now you know how to deal with them a little bit better. That's it, right? And you have the ability to help more people based on the platform that you're given. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. You know, and now it's up to you. Now the ball is in your court. And I know I give all of you 100% permission to succeed. I give you all of you permission to go out and absolutely crush life. Make the life that you dream of and that you go to bed thinking about every single night. Go get it. Go get it. Do whatever it takes. You don't need anybody else to achieve what it is you want to achieve and where you want to go and where you want to take your family. I promise you that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kendra. Thank you so much. And I'll see y'all when I see you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. That was amazing. Like, so the thing that came into my head when Brian just said that was new level, new devil. Like, it's literally, it is the truth. And I'm going to tell you guys, like, the journey doesn't stop, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. Like, the same level of grit, like, if you just get committed to the grit, committed to the uncomfortable, committed to the grind, like, it doesn't matter what your bank account looks like or what your body looks like or what your relationships look like. Every single level that you get to is going to demand a new level of you. And if you ever do find yourself at that level where you feel comfortable, like, run, run, because that comfort, if like, very quickly turns into misery, like that. So if you're in a place in your life right now where you feel uncomfortable and you feel like, I want you to think about this too. I want you to think about, if you're like, man, nothing's happening, trust me, I swear to you on every planet, if you are doing the things that feel like nothing's happening, you're consistently showing up. It's like, oh my gosh, like, I'm doing this. And all I keep meeting is like resistance, problem. You're on the right path. That's exactly what it looks like. And ultimately, like Brian was saying, like, the crazy thing that happens is, like, yeah, you hit your goals at some point, right? And the only differentiator between every single person on this call is time. That's the only variable in the equation, and everybody's time is going to look different. And if you look up, like Ashley Salvatore was saying yesterday on the call, I love that she said, you know, she doesn't go and compare herself to other people. If you compare yourself to Brian, or you compare yourself to Sylvia or myself or anyone who did this Rhino Run, Abigail, or sorry guys, I'm getting a call coming in. You know, Nick or Nate and Anna Justice, or Nick and Kelly Couch. Like, if you're comparing yourself to anyone because they're your leader, or because they brought you into this business, or because you saw them on this Rhino Run call, I would urge you to literally just like break up with that mindset. Spend that quiet time with yourself. Picture where you want to go. Commit to the work, commit to the grit, commit to the uncomfortable. Like, this past year, like Brian was saying, like, there was more growth and like all this crazy, like, financial stuff and whirlwind of life over the past year and a half. But I'll tell you that more than once I've found myself in that place where I'm just like, what the hell is next? Let's go. Like, because that, like, if you fall in love with that, you will hit and you will surpass every financial goal. And that will just be, it will be fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's great to not worry about things financially and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the real excitement, the real heart of what this all is helping other people, seeing them succeed, and continue and falling in love with the process. Like, I promise you, if you fall in love with this, if you get excited about these calls, if you get fired up by connecting with other people who have that fire, who get in, I guarantee if Brian Jaymes today met Brian Jaymes 10 years ago, like he would be like, let's go. Like he would love to sit down and have a conversation with that person, because those people, Kendra 5 years ago, Brian 10 years ago, Alexis 5 years ago, like whatever, like we're just hungry all the time for the next level. So when you get off this Rhino Run, stay hungry for that next level for yourself, stay in the grind, like get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because I promise you it is the most magical place to be. So speaking of, let's just talk about this this promo really quick. I know it's a little different, right? It's a little different from what we do sometimes. And let me tell you something, total transparency, right? I'm like, I found myself getting a little bit like, can we just have just a regular dance sale? Like I found myself getting a little bit kind of, and then I was like, you know what? No, like my mindset towards this is going to determine my success, our team's success, every new person that I talk to, all the people who have those trial packs, all the promoters who I'm going to follow back up with. Guys, this is the time. Pay attention to the Pruvit promoter page today. You're going to see a post in there, right, about who exactly to reach out to. So let's talk about it. 22% off. It's a guest pass. So it's for brand new promoters coming in. They're going to get 22% off that experience pack. Here's what I would do today. Here's an action step. I would take anyone on your team, find whoever you are connected to as a business partner, right? Whoever, don't be going right, left, everywhere, all the place. Find a person who you believe has the highest level of belief, okay? Has the highest level of belief. Get with them, get with your potentials, and get on an opportunity call. That NAT experience pack is 22% off. Go and plug into the person. Maybe the person who you thought had the highest level of belief, right now they don't. Okay? So go to the person who has the highest level of certainty, because listen to me when I tell you this. If you get on a call with somebody and they're a little bit off in their energy or whatever it may be, go and connect with somebody who you know is in current fire, current credibility, current belief, current certainty. They're in the hunt, they're in the hunger, because when you get on a call with that person, your potential people are going to feel it. They're going to believe it. Okay. They're going to be like, oh, I want to do this too, right? It doesn't matter what they say. It just matters how they feel. So that's my action step for the NAT experience pack. For the and guys, for all new promoter or for all new customers, they're going to get 22% off on everything coming in. So pay attention. I love the promo too. I think it's amazing. I think it's so super cool. Oh, Katie posted her video. Sweet. Okay, I didn't know it was in there yet. So there's already the video in the Pruvit promoter page talking about language, exactly what to do. So there's no excuse to not take that grit today. Guys, the grit doesn't happen on this call. This is a feeling, it's emotion, right? You get it for a little bit, you get off the call, something happens, it goes away. The grit happens in the privacy of when you're with yourself. Like Brian said at the beginning of the call, I love that. Like, who are you when the video shuts off? That's going to determine where you are in 5 years. That's going to determine, Melissa B is in Florida right now with her 2 girls. She just up and left, went on a vacation with them. And her little girl literally was like, Mommy, this feels like a dream. Do you want to give your kids dreams? Do you want to take them places? Do you want to make memories with them? Like, what do you want? And what are you going to do today, tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that will determine that. So that's it. That's all we got for you guys today. Love you guys so, so much. Seriously, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for showing up, for being here, and for giving us all a place to lead, because we all grow so much from that. So Brian, we love you. Nevaeh, we love you, sweetheart. God, I love her. She's so precious. All right. You guys have a blessed Friday. Have a banging weekend. Rock this promo, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye.